Hello, future teachers. Has you ever noticed that students don't know all using English in the same way? Some sound more formal, others more casual, some mix language, while others stick to one. This happens because of linguistic variation. The natural difference in how people using language depending on who they are in the situation they're in. In the classroom, these variations are especially important to understand. They can affect how the students participate, how they spread ideas, and even how they connect with you as their teacher. Today, we'll be exploring the main types of linguistic variation. You will encounter again gender, socioeconomic, status, sociolect, register, code switching, regional variation, language using, and language style. By the end, you will see how these different aren't challenges to overcome, they are opportunities to make learning richer and more inclusive. Hello, I am Ana Molina. Today, we're exploring who again influence the way people speak, a key part of linguistic variation. Again, affect language in several ways. Pitch. Adults are often identified by voice and pitch, through there is overlap. Interlinking women with deeper voice and impolitis, sometimes receiving higher approval. Vocabulary and grammar. Teen using more slang and even more curse words, while adult language become more formal over time. Pronunciation. Young speakers may adopt patterns like in replacing the T in the bottle or water with a glottal stop bowler or water. Slang. Because slang changes so fast, you can often guess someone again from the expression they are using like lean or lonely. In the classroom, imagine 10 writing the moving what's like, while the adult write the moving what's excellent. Instead of correcting them, you can compare the expression and show how both mean the same thing. This way, students learn that again shaped language and the every generation at its own style in communication.
Hello, my name is Karen Almeida. Today I'm going to explain how three important variables influence the way we communicate, especially in the educational context. These variables are gender, socioeconomic status, and linguistic skill. First, gender refers to identify and how it can affect the way we express ourselves. For example, in school, social norms may influence some male students to use more direct or informal language, while some female students may prefer a more reserved or formal style when participating in class. This isn't a strict rule, but it is an observable tendency that impacts communications. The second variable is socioeconomic status, which plays a crucial role. Students from different economic backgrounds show variations in their vocabulary and experience. For example, students who grew up in a less affluent environment might have a different way of speaking and bring different perspectives compared to another who comes from a more economically wealthy family. This diversity enriches the classroom, but also requires teachers to be mindful of promoting inclusive communication. Finally, linguistic style refers to the unique way each person uses language, which varies depending on the context and the person they speak to. For example, many students use formal and respectful language when addressing the teacher, but switch to a more relaxed and informal tone with their peers. Understanding this difference is key to fostering an inclusive environment where all students feel comfortable and can express themselves authentically and respectfully.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramona Castro. Today we'll speak of sociolect. Let's go reading. What is sociolect? Sociolect is the language used by a specific social group. Example: teenager may say, "Bro, don't sleep," where adult means simple as "That's very good." Another case is the big gamer in class, what me says, I'm speaking with me, while others just said, "I finished my homework." Other case in musical language, K-pop student fan says, "That compass was crazy." Another group only understand they really a new song. This is differences so group identity and teachers should be on words as they then understand students better. Now, listen the register. What is the register? Register refers to the level of formality depend on the situation. For example, for instance, in this formal context, a student may write, "Dear teacher, I would like to ask for an extension." But with a friend, the same person says, "Hey, dude, can you help me with my homework?" In this case, to job interview versus coffee shop. Formal. Good morning, that's for the opportunity. Informal. Hey, what's up? Do you want a coffee? Teacher need to guide students in choosing the right register. Thank you for attention.
In this section, I will explain two important types of linguistic variation in the classroom: code switching and regional variation. Code switching happens when bilingual speakers mix two or more languages in the same conversation. This is very common in classrooms where students speak English and Spanish. For instance, a student may say, "Miss, I didn't do my homework porque estuve enfermo." Uh, this is code switching because the student mixes English and Spanish in the same sentence. As teacher, we must respect this natural process but also encourage students to increase their use English in formal tasks. Another type of linguistic variation is regional variation. This happens when the same language is spoken differently in different places. It includes difference in accent, vocabulary, and even grammar, depending on the where the speaker come from. For example, a British teacher may say, "Put your homework in the bin," while an American teacher will say, "Put your homework in the trash can." Both are correct, but they belong to different regions. Regional variation is important in the classroom because our students will not only hear one single type of English. They may listen to British English in a movie, American English in a song, or even Australian English online. A future teacher, when should prepare students to understand and respect this diversity. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Christian Quispe, and for this task, I'm going to talking about the language use as the linguistic variation. It is when the different ways of speaking that the students present according to people who interact during a process of communication influenced by factors such as their geographical origin, social class, age, networks, environment. In this class, there are first one's geographical variations or the topic. Students come from different regions which can lead to different way to speaking, accent, vocabulary, structures. For example, a student from USA may use the word color, honor, in contrast, while British use colors honors. Other example is sociocultural variation or the aesthetics. The students' level of knowledge and familiarity with the language influences their way of speaking. For example, um, a more proficient students may use more formal vocabulary in a conversation. For example, hi, what you doing? While a beginner will use simple expressions such as good morning or how are you. And finally, functional variation or diaphrasic refers to the adaptation of language to the situations. The teacher should adapt their speech using clear, lower speech and simple examples as I am Marco, I am teacher, in contrast to I'm Mark, I'm teacher. The students may use formal and informal language depending on whether they answer in a direct or interacting relationship. Thanks.
So, future teacher, what can we take away from this journal into linguistic variation? Language in the classroom is never fixed. It's switching with again gender, socioeconomic background, social group, register, coded suite, regional difference, and each student unique style. These differences are no obstacle, they are opportunities. When we recognize them, then our classroom become more inclusive, more dynamic, and more connecting to real life. Instead of correcting every variation, we can guide learning to see why language change and how to adapt their communication for different contexts. Our mission as teacher goes beyond teacher grammar and vocabulary. We are here to show that language is alive, diverse, and powerful. By embracing variation, we prepare students to be flexible, confident communicator in a global world. So the text next time you hear slang, code and switching or a regional accent in class, don't not see it as a mistake. See it as evidence that language is growing. And remember, your classroom should be a space where every voice matters.